So good evening, welcome to the Donny Chaingang. We're live from the Full Speed Events studios. If I look short, it's because I'm actually sat down. See, I'm not that short, really. Happy New Year! Happy 2023. Tell you what, let's just do this. By the magic of twisting the camera around on its axis, we can do that. I'm sat down because I had a tough day. So, welcome to the Chaingang. It's Tempest Future. It is 2023. Russ is all ready to roll. We're coming in hot with 2 minutes to go. Before we do anything else, let's show you where we're going. We are heading out with Russ as our yellow beacon. Leading is 2.4. Tempest Future, a course everybody surely knows by now. 3 laps of 17.3k. Finish at 54.2 at the Fuego Flats Rock Arch. Elevation of 48 metres and a little bit of a warm down on the end to the blue banner as normal. Key thing to remember, you finish when you come back in to the arch as you did from the pens, not in the opposite direction. Russ will be controlling the pace and lifting it. And our red beacon Supremo, who's currently staring at her phone, is making sure that everybody is in place, is all ready to roll. So our riders hopefully all lined up and good to go. We are just going to take a little bit of a check of our riders. It looks all good to me. So riders are on the start line. The profile, well, this is our least, absolutely least useful profile from Velloview. It's basically flat apart from through. The incredible climb, it's a bit like being out round Selby, over and through the Oasis. So here we go. Our riders in that last 30-second of countdown, heading out and around Fuego Flats. Don't forget, of course, all made possible because of the people who help our riders, the members of the DCG gang that keep the show on the road and everything rolling. The month supported by, you got it, Veloskin, looking after our riders on the DCG gang. So let's dive in with the riders. We are about to hit the start line. Our riders are ready to go. So away they go. Let's jump in with Gail. Now, Gail, of course, is the person who controls our red beacons. Gail has the unenviable job of marshalling all of those beacons on the way through, and definitely has a very, very tough job because people, of course, change their minds, have different commitments come up. But Gail, the master of the spreadsheet. So great to see Gail on the gang now. Just keeping an eye on our riders just heading in, joining. Potentially late joiners, of course. Mr. Simon Knight. He's one man who doesn't need much assistance to get up to the front. So looks like Simon underway. It looks like Seth Jackson just pushing to get back in with the gang here at the moment. At the moment, pretty much everybody looking like they've got it out of the pens okay. In fact, the only person left is our Full Speed Events avatar. We've actually called it Emma. There's a reason for that, because Emma is going to be using that avatar for our WoW DCG tomorrow. Now, there's some real who's who, because Cam Fraser has joined us. Cameron on board. Good to see Cameron on the gang once again. Interesting to see we've got Ian Brooks in from Bolsover. Looks like Kai Hurst. Good to see you back, Kai. Eddie Dench in here. Vin Donny. Vin, how you not had enough of Swift after your 500k over the kit. So let's have a little bit of a check how our riders are doing. In from Stellaton right up there. John Garford, Chris Cannon. Kuslug's winner, of course, on the 1080 kit in here. Yes, just no problems, Mr. Cannon. Chris, just say thank you for sending links. The members of the DCG gang get all the links direct to their inbox. We do send those out usually on a Monday. So if you join after they go on a Monday, you do quite often have to wait until we do a block of them together. Do try and keep up to them, but at the moment, this is an incredibly busy week, as the members will see from their email for us on the full speed events, and that means that the members' emails will go out as blocks, not as individual members' emails, because it's a manual thing that we have to do after we get beyond the Monday. So we're going to do in a big block. And those people who have just joined, this is for members of the DCG gang, of course. Coastal, thank you very much, Matt, and Ian, for the Oakleys. Well, it's all Ian, really. Let's face it. It is. He is the man. I just get to give you the good news when we do the draws, and going to be great to see our riders coming out in. Good. So thank you very much for whoever just said Happy New Year as well. Always great to see everyone. Happy New Year, everybody. It is another year. It's 2023. And look, promises to be an absolutely manic start for us at Full Speed Events. I know Russ has had a very busy Christmas, so great to see the gang back in and up to speed and quickly up and rolling. Russ choosing a really cool route, actually. I do like Tempest Fugit for a post-Christmas burn-up. And I think really, really appropriate to get that done. So great to see. So through the archway we go. First time in and through. Looks like pretty much everyone in there. Matt Nunn, Matt! Superstar Matt, our lap character. He's in, and he is making sure that everyone knows it is 3 laps to go. So let's take a little bit. Oh, we've got Mr. Josh Mayland in, the man from Halo, on board. Very quick is our Josh. Definitely a man to watch out for. Josh, very, very quick indeed. As we see, yeah, Gail looks like, I'm hoping everybody else can see the beacon. We have had plenty of times, that we don't see the beacon. So I'm hoping Gail has got that red beacon over her head, because who better to kick off a new year with our head honcho of red beacons on the DCG than Gail Phillips. Gail, of course, a very consummate rider, an organiser, as well as responsible for the TTs out of Cookney, which loads of us have done over the years as well. And a very busy person indeed, and great to have Gail's support all the way through, looking after our regular rotating red beacons. If you want to be a red beacon, please do get in touch with Gail. Send a message on Facebook. Gail really does work hard to get us all of our beacons, and gotta say, it is an unenviable job. Please make sure that you let Gail know if you want to have a go. It really is important that we get those beacons in, and maybe give some of our regular beacons a rest, because we do have a lot of the same people stepping up and being beacons. And I would really, really love to see a few new faces in there. Not because they do a bad job, they do an amazing job, but just to give them a bit of a break, because a few new bodies on there would not go. I mean, just give some of those guys a regular chance to maybe do it a little bit less often and spend a little bit more time on the front. Now, interesting to see that Ryan Crawley is in with us. Ryan, another of our regular riders here. So Ryan, always good to see Ryan in the gang. ADN here. AD, of course, a red beacon on the Chaingang over the Christmas period, and working well. We've got Matt Gilmore back on. I'll tell you something, it could be a quick one once that trigger is pulled. We're just working our way in through. Looks like Sean Ferrin in here as well. It really is a lot of regular faces, as well as a lot of new riders. Key thing to remember, guys, with 111 riders, 111 If you are at the front, you will not see the back. If you are at the back, you will not see the front. And we are just going to take a little bit of a check in here to see who is where, because as you can see, looks like Charlie Brewer. Charlie just distanced off the back of the group here. So currently at 24 seconds down on the back of that group. My suggestion would be, unless you're feeling particularly strong, Charlie, do a rejoin. Always that little bit easier to get back in with the group, because they've got to work. Got to work very, very. You've got to work very hard to get high enough power differential over a very fast-moving bunch. The bunch has an absolute advantage on this course because of the draft. Basically, if you're not in the draft, you're out the back and in trouble, and that really isn't fun. Not a fun place to be whatsoever. So, interesting little discussion on crank length. Crank length definitely does make a big difference in what you ride. Lots of people basically seem to ride 1725 basically because that's what they've come on. That's what comes with them. And that's because it's cheaper for manufacturers to buy a bulk load of everything. So they buy a mass of cranks, and those cranks then get fitted to everything. So Charlie, suggestion, mate, jump out, jump back in again. With the late join, it will bring you straight into the bunch, buddy. Much easier way of getting in. So crank length's easier. So basically 165 on the crank on the track, 170 for me on the road. 165. Emery's on 165s on everything. She's fractionally shorter in leg length on there. So really is. Interesting to make sure you get the right crank length. It is worth doing. It does make a difference, and you know, you wouldn't expect to ride the same size bike. Why would you ride the same size crank lengths if you're a different size? You wouldn't. Not in an ideal world. So that's where my issue started. Swapping bikes all the time. Yep, don't swap them. In fact, I did used to ride 170s on the track quite regularly when I was riding a lot. I had a set of record 170s, and I put them on everything. Yeah. Neil from Crosscast, if you're experimenting, also make sure you correct your saddle height, because of course that crank length will change your saddle height as well. Also true when you change your shoes and cleats as well, because there's different stack heights between the base of the sole and the center of the axle. If you want to be really pedantic, you can find differences of up to 5 millimeters. 170 is a good size for most. Yeah, I would agree. Most people, I am of average height. I'm not tall, I'm not short. I am literally the average height for the UK for my age. And I ride 170s because I'm Mr. Average size, basically. Not Mr. Average weight. A little bit more than that, but there you go. Probably a whole lot more with all the work we've been doing recently. And not a lot of riding. It's all going to be in all the wrong places. You can see that Neil's in there contributing. Neil, of course, professor of all things ergonomics, and has done lots of work in terms of engineering as well. So a real important man to. If you want any tech information, Neil's always good to pick the brains of. Great to have him, and Lotta, in fact, who's another of our riders from Gritty and from Montezuma's on the Chaingang, comes on Chaingang sometimes, on the Crosscast, and we recorded another Crosscast yesterday. So yesterday was Crosscast Day, or Crosscast Evening, and another show, so well worth a listen once that comes out. I'm going to be very interested to see people's opinions on a few things that we talk about. Always interested to see what people have to say. And a very busy week now. We're just going to drop back to our avatar, and that is simply so that we can just check to see how people are doing, because it allows us to see the last 100 riders when the group is going away from us. When the group comes towards us, we can't. So 113 riders on there. Someone run it. I'm 5'9", but with size 9 feet. Yeah, I'm 5'9.5", and I've got size 9.5 feet. Yeah, like I said, pretty average sign. I used to have dinky feet. Are they both left feet? So I always thought my feet were too big for my head. Or am I normal-ish? Yeah, fairly normal-ish. One thing that happens as you get older, feet spread. There you go. Total random. You generally find that the activity spreads out. Also, if you wear climbing shoes, look, your feet will get smaller because you're compressing them down in a fabric shoe, generally. Certainly old school days was always the case. Today's random fact. I actually used to get into size 4.5 in climbing shoes, and back in the 90s. One of my most stupid things I ever did. Blooming painful. Climbed well. So you can see Mark Grant in. It looks like we've got Lee in here as well. Joe Jarvis on board. Joe, of course, regular beacon on the WoW DCG, regular racer for the Aeonian race team, and is going to be Red Beacon tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is tomorrow is actually a particularly special day, because it is the person who stitches together the WoW DCG, that is Emma. It's actually her birthday tomorrow. It's a pretty important birthday. In fact, it's so important that she's having a whole year of birthdays. I'm loving the conversation going on about changing people's names now that they've know what size feet people have. So coming up towards our turn, I'm going to be heading back in. We're going to have one last run down to the back of the group just to double check that we haven't lost anybody. Looks like Mr. Brewer just been distanced out of the group at the moment. So Brewer just off the back at the moment. I think maybe getting dropouts on the way through. Got to hold those wheels, absolutely key. And you can see that gap going out, because although the front of the group's doing 2.6, you're going to find riders in trouble. Looks like Mike Killingsworth just being distanced as well. Gail sitting just on the back of the group to try and catch the last riders as they go off the group. Somebody who knows exactly how Red Beacon works. But she's always going to be up against it today. So if you do get distanced off the back of the group, please, guys, make sure you ping a message up on the message board. Really, really key, particularly as we head back in the opposite direction, because we can't do our little cheat and head out on back to the FSE avatar. It's not going to work. Now, good to see our riders coming flying in and out of the group. It looks at the moment like everybody is working well together. Our helicopter up and above them. Now some nice little bits and pieces to tell you about. Velaskin month on Gritty. On Gritty. You can tell I was doing the crosscast. Velaskin month on the Donny Chaingang. We started off with OTE in September. We then had Halo, and Josh is on tonight, from Halo in October. And then we had Gritty Neil on in November. So Gritty were our sponsors in November. Then in December it was 1080 in from 1080 with some great stuff going out there. Of course, those extra discounts, now plenty of people making the most of those. And then we're moving on to Velaskin this month. We've got Continental in February, and then in March for the Italian Classics, we have the Italian Classic restaurant itself, Nonna's in March, and then we have one of our key supporters returning in April. I'd love to tell you who it is, but I'm not allowed to. It's going to be a surprise come April. Let's put it this way, it'd be very handy for people because they're bound to want to stock up for the summer on those extra discounts that you get when it comes to being the key supporter. So make sure you're a member of the DCG gang if you want those discounts. Remember, of course, 20% off Vela Skin. If you're not sitting comfortably, you should be. Is the tempo hot enough? We are shedding the odd body. But if you don't shout, our beacons can't see you, so really key. Please, guys, make sure you shout out if you are being distanced and need some help. Matt Nunn is sat on the edge. Not sure on the edge of what. No, we'll find out. You can see we've got Morgan back in with us as well. Just a bit like the back of a elimination stroke double take the hindmost at the moment with AD Gale, Morgan and Russell. Just all line just a slight echelon there on the way in. T2 unable to do late joining to keep setting her to finish line. Unusual, but possible with the updates. Always worth a full shutdown and then a reboot if that is the case. If you're finding that post updates you're having issues. Let's jump in with Russ. I don't think we've been in with Russ yet today. Rather remiss of me. Happy New Year, Russ. Russ on the bike, got those bonds on his feet as he's been talking about in the Downing Cycling Coaching Works kit as he comes through in that grey and green Thurcroft CC inspired kit there. Orange socks, a little bit of a clash, but just said him just keep a check on here. I'm going to see Mr. Ruddiman is on board, made it in to the gang. Yeah, Terminator 2 trying to get in. Sometimes it can take 5 or 6 attempts, particularly post-update. Tuesday's update day. So regular updates coming from Zwift. You could land in the middle of an update landing. And that definitely doesn't work very well. So just keeping an eye on the messages, joining links, guys. So real simple one, I think, realistically. Tracy is a member of DCG Gang. She gets a direct link straight in there. Now, what you can do two things. What I would do is cut it and then open it in a browser. If you have that option, that is absolutely key. So that is a really important one to try and join the event. Unjoin and then rejoin the event. Apple TV and the Zwift homepage are not a great combination, as Mantis is saying on there. In fact, Apple TV is rarely the best combination with Zwift. It is the one that seems to have the most issues. We do use it. I actually use it personally for my own rides when we're not in the studio, and it is the most problematic. We rarely, if ever, have problems on PC. We have lots of issues when we use the Apple TV. We have less issues, to be honest, just using it on a phone. But it is often the Apple TV app that is the issue, particularly when there's been an update, as there probably has been tonight. So I know a number of people do use the Apple TV. It's really a cost-effective option to get on. It doesn't give you as good graphics because it defaults basically to a standard graphic setup. It doesn't give you quite as much resets. Zero problems from Neil at Crosscaster for Apple TV, knowing his house could get PC to work. So I've actually never having a problem with Apple TV. We've generally had more. We've never had a problem with PC in comparison. It's just got to make sure you do all those updates. The other thing that you can find is the Apple update is more sensitive to not having the same update on your Apple phone. Okay, around. It's got a PC issue. Is the HDMI stopped working? What you need to do is talk to Tim Cooper, Mr. Brown. Talk to Tim. He will be able to sort you that out. Russ only has a problem keeping up. I always have a problem keeping up. That's just with the messages. So on our way back to the Arch once again, currently on 15k. Kieran, no, thanks. Yeah, Tim Cooper, absolutely superb, and let's face it, he's a regular man. Yeah, Tim Cooper lost a love at the moment. Yeah, he is a little bit. He's also moved out and living in the middle of the Peak District, so he's regularly out on the bike, oddly enough. So Gail patrolling the back of this group. I'm sure you can all see Gail's red beacon. We can't. Because we've got Chris Iredale on. Now, it is Fella Skin month, and Chris is on in his Wahoo Lacol kit. Now, here we go. Let's talk about Velaskin. Absolutely really important stuff. So, if you are on your bike on turbo doing more miles, the bike ain't going anywhere. It's not rocking about. It's not moving like the bike does normally. Make sure chamois cream from them. Absolutely key when you sit on the bike. More important when you are on the turbo than when you are outdoors. Also, if you're not sitting 100% comfortably, you're not going to go as fast. It's really simple. So make sure you get that done. Don't forget, of course, that with the weather turning Baltic everywhere else, pretty much, other than where I'm sat in the studio, then it is key. Make sure if you're outdoors, you're heading out, make sure that you get yourself well moisturised. That is really, really important. So, guys, make sure you get that done. So, Matt, now I'm going to go spectate. Matt, make sure you go say hello to Neil. Neil's going to be down there with the gritty stand at Cyclo Park. Not going to be at Cyclo Park, not the National Trophies this year, but at Clanfield on Saturday. And going to be down there. Oh, no shot this time. So go say hello to Neil. Neil's going to be racing, so give him a shout instead. So Neil's going to be down there. Don't forget, of course, going to be down at Clanfield on the Saturday. And then if your VPN isn't registered as being in the UK on Sunday, you can catch up with me. I'm going to be on the world feed for the world feed on the UCI. So Zonhoven Cyclocross Sunday. Going to be doing that. And then in between, lots of extra riding and ride coverage. Don't forget, though, if you are watching, we will not be broadcasting on Thursday because we are driving. So it's like a steady start to the gang. A few people being distanced on the way out, but our rider's just on the turn. So back none in the pits for Rob Kennison. Say hello to Rob for us. Gonna miss talking about him. He was good to see Rob racing at the World's Masters. The cyclocross at Ipswich. (18th of February), UCI Esports World Championships. One for my commentary skills, Matt. I wish I was. I'll be brutally honest. It would be a lovely gig to have, but it is tied in with GCN, as I understand it, at the moment. So their staffers will be on there, as far as I know. Always happy. Anyone wants to give them a shout out, I'm quite happy to do that. I actually think 18th of February. I'm not even sure what's in the full speed events calendar in the 18th of February. Getting to the Worlds at Hoogerheide in the 5th of February. And then going to think about what's happening after that, pretty much. It's a bit of a manic month. 18th will be a Saturday, and technically, actually out and about. So, available. Yeah, go on, Matt. Go on, Cam, give us a nudge. Somebody must know them. So, yeah, wonder what course it'll be on. No, it's going to be on the Glasgow course, which is the no surprises really for that, to be honest. So through we go, Mr. Dunn. I hope you're on lap counting duty. Yes, indeed. 2 laps to go. Saw that ping through the screen at about 200 miles an hour. Kieran Brown just having a little bit of a stroll off the back. He'll soon be back in with the gang, I'm sure. Just taking a little bit of a check. Mr. Brewer continuing onwards. Too late for the to use that late join again now. They're filling the virtual potholes now. Love it on the Glasgow course. And that's pretty standard when you get a World Championship coming in, sweeping the corners. Or are they sweeping corners as in easy bends? Don't know. We'll find out. So Mr. Pendlebury in here, just tuck it in just ahead of Kieran. Drunk bloke in the studio trying to knock him off. You never know. Very entertaining. Right. Gang's ticking along nicely. Good to see we've got Ryan Williams in once again. Tiff on board. Good to see Tiff back with us as well. One of our regular riders on the DCG gang. Mr. Ingham in here. Williams, McDermott, Hudson's in as well. Moray's in here. Just looks like it's a real mix of riders in here. Just rolling our way up and through. Well, gang looking good. It's all rolling along nicely. Nobody off the back. Might go grab a coffee. Oh, look, there's one. That's what we like to see. Everybody behaving themselves. Might not losing the plot. A well-behaved gang. Always a bonus. It's 2023. Blobtastic. That is definitely the word of the day. It's blobtastic. I'd like to think I could catch up with social media, but it never ever works. If I try doing that, I end up in trouble. I've tried that before. Very dangerous. Trying to catch up with riders trying to join the gang at lastminute.com. Quick reminder, if you're inviting people to join the chain gang, they need to fill in the questions. You need to tell them, fill in the questions. If they don't fill in the questions, they ain't gonna get in the door. It's really straightforward, guys. Please make sure they do. Want to make sure that they are real people. Well, I think we've watched the gang roll around. What are we on? 35 minutes, 22k. Nice long one tonight, of course, but expect that pace to get hotter as that trigger is pulled. Gang's pretty quiet tonight, really. A little bit of chat, nothing drastic. It's so quiet on the chain gang and it's so smooth. Maybe somebody should ask what level they should set the turbo trainer difficulty at. That's always makes things more entertaining. Where's Jimmy Allen when you need him? Crank length is the new trainer difficulty. It could be. It could well be. So run it 185s. I once had a pair of 190s. I think they were. Yeah, they were. They were 190s. To go do hill climbs on. Oh my god, it was horrendous. It was the worst thing ever. Mr. Mason. Going to go long. Long crank length or long sprint? We will soon find out. As he got the Ghost stored up, is Mr. Mason going to deploy the Ghost? We don't mention TTs on here. John, I once rode a 12 hour. Actually, I rode more than one 12 hour. How stupid is that? Once rode a 12 hour on a fixed wheel. That was even more stupid. Mental. Didn't do that on 180 cranks, that's for damn sure. Right. Matt Crease running 100 mil cranks. Finn Donny, long is Joe Blackburn. Solo's quicker than chasing group on here for the win. I tell you something, one bet against Joe Blackburn in any race, any ride at the minute, he's absolutely flying. I think tomorrow will be well worth a watch. Interesting to see how our runners get on tomorrow. Next strange show, could be chopping bits off the bike to go faster or drilling holes in them. Make them lighter. Used to hell climb with a Wyman front brake because it didn't weigh anything. It was absolute garbage on the fixed wheel. So flexible, it was like trying to have spaghetti brakes. Probably attached to his Simon runners. Tempting thought. Well, just doing Matt. Mr. Woodward, Mr. Garfield. Everybody rolling along nicely. 40 minutes on, 25k on the clock. Not reached 1 lap to go yet. Dan Williams took nicely in here as we make our way through towards this turn. In fact, we're just heading in to the half turn. I think I got mince pies, but you know I haven't had a mince pie all Christmas. How rubbish is that? Had lots of mince pies on the run up to Christmas, but can you buy a mince pie in France? No, can't. It's almost impossible to buy mince pies in France. How rubbish is that? Terrible. Had a lot of very nice other food there instead. Right. Heading into the turn. Mr. Chris Bell tucked it in nicely. Simon Oxon and Ryan in. Well, all the usual suspects still holding on nicely. Back of the gang still all together. As our runners about to head out around the turn. Just taking a little bit of a check on those times. Mr. Lynch just distanced off the back of the group at the moment. Just having to put in a bit of a push here to get back in. And just as he's doing 5.5 watts per kilo to get back into the group. Our Red Beacons, of course, it's a real tough job once we go over 100 riders. At the moment, as you can see, Lynch just pushing on here. So, Colin, keep on going, mate. Nearly back into the gang here. Let's take a look up. Here we go. It's on its way in. I'm loving Russ's numbers. Clay Keane, I'm new. What actually happens later? Yeah, it's really... So basically, what's going to happen is Russ is going to say 3 words. It's a G followed by an O followed by a G followed by an O followed by a G followed by an O. We don't actually ever say that unless it's actually been said by Russ, because people will get all jumpy. At that point, all of the rules are off. All of the limits are off. You can ride as fast or as slow as you want to get yourself to that finish. There is a little bit of a race. It is very, very, very tough stuff. But if you are new, it is really interesting to see who can hold on when you're brand spanking new. Even the best don't. So we always say, if you do get dropped, find a group, ride on. Really important. There are new riders on the gang every week. It's very rare that we have all experienced riders on there. I'm liking Gareth Mason's responses. Get the fat like it'll go mad for 1 minute, then it'll settle, and then it'll go mad randomly. That's about right. How long a blast do we want? Oh, I'm sure that's up to us. 1K, says Mr. Woodward. With you on that. 55 says Simon Roddick. 400 metres for Brooks. Trying to listen to Matt's voice on repeat for 10 hours. Oof. Now that'll be tough. It's very, very dark. Long, full up, 200 metres, 25.5k, 165. Love it. I am absolutely loving the contrasting answers coming from the gang at the moment about when we should hit the button. Russ can have a look at the answers and get back to everybody. Yeah, okay. Take your time, Russ. Got to find you. I was going to try and focus on him at that moment in time, but yeah, he's somewhere up the road. He's right near the front somewhere. Oh, look, we're nearly at Russ. Nearly at Russ. Missed him. Oh, I tell you, can't hesitate in this game. It's like, can you hit the spinning wheel just at the right time? The answer is no. Just make everybody dizzy. Try and jump backwards and forwards until you find the winner, Mr. Downing. Russ, will you stay still? Stop moving through the bunch. Might have to resort to our favourite cheat. Oh, well. There's a reason he's on favourites. Right, let's jump in with Russ. This always gets people twitchy. We're at 47 minutes. Gang just about all together. 1 or 2 people distanced off the back. As you can see, everybody in here. Time to see just what's going to happen. Let's get everybody really scared. As the riders head in and along. Yes, we don't call Russ anymore. That's just because of the sheer technical hassles to do it is actually unbelievable. If we do that, it is very, very tough to do it. Basically, we had it takes adds about half an hour at just the wrong time to do all of the pre-show checks for a phone call coming into the show. So whilst we can do it, it can be hit and miss. It also means that Russ has to ride with headset on that he's got good sound quality to take a call and to answer it. And when you're going as fast as Russ does, that's not the easiest thing in the world to do. In fact, it's downright unpleasant. So tempting as it is to call him and distract him, let's not. Not gone quiet. Just double checking messages. Making sure everything's in there. I love the fact that the moment we focus on Russ, the message board just shuts up. It's really odd. Can't imagine why. Everybody gets twitchy. Everybody is waiting for the moment. Will lightning strike? Twitchy, twitchy, twitchy time. Indeed, Mr. Donahoe. Let's see. When is it going to happen? 50 minutes in. It's waiting. We're waiting. 32k done. 32.5. Interesting to see at what point is Russ going to call this. I'll keep saying this, and then eventually we'll get the right time. Crackerjack time. Oh, crackerjack, crackerjack. Yeah. It's an old joke for people of a certain age. Yeah, Mr. Ball, you are indeed showing your age. I did have a very interesting conversation with the kids over Christmas about the Magic Roundabout, which really does age me. Between that and Teletubbies and hallucinogenic substances, it was a very entertaining conversation, it has to be said. And what generation's TV show was worst or best from that point of view. You do know if I move off Russ, the moment I move off him, he's going to call this, just to keep me working really hard. Just take a little run back. This is dangerous, I know, but let's try. So it looks like Claire Jessup with Gail Phillips got some company back there as well. So looks like that is going to be Claire Keane. Claire continuing to push hard here. Got Gail and Claire for company. So it looks like the bus rolling. Looks like Mr. Stevens going to be dropping back as well. So this is the group at the back. Be interesting to see how the bus rolls at this point. Remember, if you work together, that pace will be fast. So all aboard. Gail has called the bus before Russ called the trigger point. So let's see what is going to happen in the bus. The bus looking good at the moment. It's all about now holding the gang together at the back for Gail, our Red Beacon Supremo, as always. And Gail keeping that ticking along nicely. Well, I tell you something. We're about to go underneath the archway. Remember, we're only going to be we're going to come back in. It is very, very interesting. Look at this Lindley slaying off at the back here, waiting, I think, to use the draft on the way through. Dangerous tactic to play. But you can see it is steadily winding up this pace. And the go, go, go is called. Here we go. This is it. We are off. So this is time. Look at that. We told you that Lindley was laying off, waiting for it to be triggered to get the maximum draft on the way through. Interesting tactic. He's gone right from the back, headed up to the front. This is where bodies will get shed. This is where things get scary because it's steadily ramped up. Look at the volume of power-ups that have been engaged at this. We've got everything under the sun in there. We've got feathers, anvils. We've got the draft, the van for the draft in there as well. I know, just people just chucking everything, pretty much apart from the kitchen sink down there, to try and get themselves on the road. Well, really interesting to see. And look at the tail end. This was a blob only a few moments ago. Now this is more like a comet in shape. It's got that very bulky front section where the riders are pushing against the breeze, but behind you can see that riders being lost one by one out at the back of that group. Let's take a little bit of a roll back here. You see that Chris Balti Fletcher in that danger zone at the moment. It looks like Joe Jarvis just hanging on here at the moment. Sean Ferron almost in Success Smith being distance. Cannon, Ingham, Grant and Crehan. Then Bobby Mason, Sir Rodney, another big group here. Remember, find a group, jump into that group and work together. You will make your life much, much easier. Do what the Beacon is doing. Remember, we have the bus up and rolling as they come in and around this turn. The group continuing to push on. Our leaders at the front of the ride. Well, it is going to be almost into the arch. So here we go. We have that point. It is one lap to go. Thank you, Mr. Nunn. One more lap left to go here on the Donny Chaingang. The very first Donny Chaingang of 2023. One lap, 17.3k to decide who is going to take this out. We're fast approaching an hour, and that's going to be one of the longest waits for a go, go, go for a while. So if we take our drone cam up in the air, you can see still plenty of riders in contention. Very difficult to break this up. Not many trigger points where you can attack off the front, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. We've seen people ghost away out of the front. Looks like that pace at the front continues to be pretty hot. It's going to take a little bit of a run up. Looks like Ryan Crawley just aware that we may well see a little bit of a split starting to form with the pressure that's being put on at the very front. Looked to me like that was Mason trying to wind it up on the front. Now just seeing a little bit more of another move, I think, just rolling around the front here. And looks to me like it is going to be Dan Coleman who's gone for the early one here. He's gone over the top. Matt Gilmore at the moment looks like he's just turned the bunch up here. This is about getting across and forming a small group. Going solo, very, very difficult indeed. If you can get out and clear with a few bodies, it's going to make life easier. Dan Coleman of Pronto Bikes at the moment are just going to get swept up here. So the riders come in over the top here as we go alongside the rail line here. So coming down in through town, into the Wild West Town, and another dig there. And was that Ryan Crawley who went up onto the front and very quickly eased off. It was Harry Hudson in the mix at the moment. Kieran Brown sat immediately behind him. Simon Run in here. Dean Taylor in. Foden in here. Morgan Lloyd. It looks like Finley Hudson. John Wilding from VeloViewer. Always good to see the stats on VeloViewer. I haven't dared look at my stats this year. The yo-yo up and down, either doing mega miles or doing no miles. Currently doing no miles. Quite sad. So, Harry Hudson quickly into the mix. This leading group still looking strong. Still seeing riders continuing to push. Could see Tom Hepton quickly keeping that pace high. Now, when you're in the draft behind, you can be rolling generally about 2 watts per kilo less. But we are seeing riders being distanced from the back of this group still. And it shows you that if you get in trouble, you lose contact very quickly indeed. So Muncaster, Samul, Malin, and all of this group just distance. Looks like Rob Wimble in here. Looks like Maine, Dale, Toboggan in here. Chris Iredale. Not all that far off that little group there. Kai Hurst, Chris Canham, and looks like Ian from Stellarton. Coos looks in a massive group here, just making the way in and along. And if you can get in that group, it's going to make a big difference. Tiff Fletcher in here, Joe Jarvis in there as well. Looks like Bobby Mason in that group, but riders in 2s and 3s all the way around the route at the moment. We're going to take a run back up to the front. Looks like a few people deciding to keep the pace hot at the moment. Russ just laying off the back at the moment. Is this because we're going to see a move up through the group? Just keeping an eye. No, Russ dropping down to 1.7, now back up to 4.2. So modulating that speed to stay in the group, not wanting to go too hard too soon. Just seeing another dig off the front though. We'll try and get up and see who that's going to be. Up at the very front of the pack, it looks like it may well have been Mason trying to go again, just trying to keep this pack on their toes. Well, the days of Gareth Mason are just ripping up from a sprint are long gone. I tell you something, he's turned into a real ruler of a rider, not just going for the final sprint, but really trying to animate the racing, animate the riding, really make people force a bit of pace people and make people particularly our youngsters chase. Remember, if you've got lightweights in that group, you can make them work really hard, because it's about absolute power rather than power to weight at the moment. It's going to be a very interesting sprint, a real who's who of riders on the Chaingang, who's who of supporters as well, just riding in with Mason at the moment. But you can see the pace this group is moving is very quick indeed. Interesting, Rush saying tempo okay. Well, do you know what? I quite like the way the tempo is rolling at the moment. There's a reason for that, because it's encouraging riders to have a little bit of a dig. a.k.a. Kieran Brown. You can see Kieran just winding it up at 5.8 watts per kilo. Simon run it quickly onto him. The riders behind in that bunch just holding on. I'm loving Mr. Bedbury's when it's go, go, go. Oh, that guarantees you're going to get worked over, mate. I hate to say it. Well, look at this. It is getting very interesting indeed. And Mason intent on really making people work. Ryan Williams, Phil Oliver really starting to push at the moment. And look at Williams go. He's put in a big dig here. We just saw him going over the top there at 10 watts per kilo. Ryan Williams now sitting at 7.3. One of our youngsters. Is Murray going to be able to go across the move? Is Mason going to do that? They're going to have to do something about Ryan Williams because they can't afford to leave him out. He's a very quick rider indeed. And certainly not somebody who you would bet against taking a win here, because he has got the pace and the power to solo away. Look at this, Williams still being held at 1 second. So Lindley, the next rider, just rolling over the top, one after the other. These riders are all just keeping the pace nice and hot here. Russ going after Lindley though, and I think it's going to be Russ on to the wheels. Question is, have they got the speed to go clear? Looks like Chris Special just losing the will there to keep going. I think the legs going pop. Very, very tough. So you can see this pace really driving one rider after the other out of the back of that group. We're just riding in with Tom Lindley. Aaron Fives riding at the moment. And that group come down 113 starters today on the Donny Chaingang as we see another dig off the front. So looks like another attack going clear, and it looks to me like that's Mason once again. And he's not used that ghost, he just keeps on having a dig, and that's the only way you're going to break this group up, is by having a dig after a dig after a dig. We're just going to take a double check and see who it is. I think actually it's Matt Gilmore who's up the road. Dangerous move. It is Gilmore on the blue Tron bike, so it's not Gareth, it is Matt Gilmore. A really interesting move this, because Matt definitely one of our fast youngsters. The fat cyclist, i.e. Gareth Mason, is in the main group. Same kit, different bike. It's one of the great things about this route is you get to see the groups coming the other way. So the riders going the other way, see the leaders coming back. The red beacon, great work being done back there by Gail Phillips, as you would expect, as we see Dale Williams coming after Matt Gilmore, not trying to bring the group with him, trying to get across solo so that the pair can work together. Now, Matt and Dale need to work together here, because that group are breathing down the neck at the moment. They've got to keep that pace hot as they continue onwards. But it looks to me like it's going to get wound back in again. Foggy doing some serious work on there with John Wild as well. They clearly are interested in taking this in to a little bit further down before it can break up. Seeing move after move, and it is the way to break up those sprinters. You need to have attack after attack after attack. just diving across on our app. Always a moment that we love on the gang is when we have riders going in multiple directions, because basically we can very easily just tick from one group to another group going in the opposite direction. But this is our leaders at the moment. So Chris Pendlebury in here, Tristan from Shevin Cycles, Rudderman in here, Wild Foggy, Dange, Richardson, Fodden, Carl, Byrne, Kerry, Fuller's in here, Vin in this group as well. It is an absolutely stacked field. It's still a big group of riders. It's certainly looks to me like it's going to be a very interesting finish as they come down into the sprint. The question will be, can anybody pull this group apart as they head in? So 43 riders still in contention at this stage. That is tough stuff. In fact, 46 according to the current unit. It keeps yo-yoing a little bit. I think as people engage Ghosts on the way through. Dale Williams just pushing on because he's just seen another move go off the front here. Murray just moving up as well. Varty's doing the same. You know, real indication that danger has gone down the road in the shape of Ryan Williams. Dale Williams chasing after very quickly indeed. And I'll tell you something, Dale Williams, and one of those riders who's constantly attacking, and great to see Dale pushing on at the moment. Just got Kieran Brown coming up on his heels in that Lamprey inspired pink and blue kit, and looks to me like this is the way that they're going to break this group. It's starting to thin out once again with this sustained high pace. So the riders are really pushing on. You remember, we're going to go into the Oasis, out the other side, around the far turn, and then back into the archway to finish. Well, still these riders together coming in to the Oasis here in the centre of the desert. Get off our helicopter shot, it gets all misted up by the spray off the waterfall. Tell you something, I'm absolutely loving the fact that nobody's letting people rest here on the way through. We are seeing move after move after move after move. Great to see that so many people are wanting to rip it up, not let this be just an easy roll into the finish. It should be very easily done. Oh, it looks like Run It just taking a little bit of a roll off the front there. So another dig going off the front. This time it is going to be Simon, aka Sean, going down the road. So next pair of legs gone. Looks like it's been Donahoe's leg that has disappeared. So down past the saloon we go, down through the Wild West, dodging the cacti on the side of the road. So who's going to be our next rider? Who's going to be the next one to have a dig? Is it going to be Russ? Everybody thinks it is. So look, 146 beats per minute. It's got a little bit left. Not a lot left, but a little bit left. Have you watched enough of these? I know at what point Russ's heart rate goes pop. Done me homework. Not going to tell you lot though. No way. That'd be mean. Like the saying goes, don't poke the bear. So, next dig, Foggy having a go. Williams goes over the top. Question is, have they forgotten where the finish is? You'll soon find out. As they go to 0 watts per kilo, then you know that they've misjudged it. But if they keep on going, then you know that they know that we've got to get round the loop. So Williams is kicking on. He certainly knows how far he's got to go. He should do. He's done this often enough. Got to get round the turn and come back again. Looks like they've stretched this well and truly out. Over the top goes John Wild now. Is John Wild going to take advantage? There are a lot of people went really hard and really deep as we came at the opposite direction, and that has done some serious damage, I think, to a lot of people's legs. This is going to be very interesting indeed now. John Wild keeping it wound up, keeping this stretched out. Chasing group is fracturing. It's one long line behind Russ, who's tucked on the back of that group just about. Oh, he's dangling off. John Wild doing some serious damage here. There's going to be a lot of sore legs because of this big dig coming from John. Wrong line for lots of people. We knew that would happen. And that is going to be telling now. Here we go. Wild keeps on pushing. He's got the group coming up hard on his heels. Who's going to be in this pack? Ryan Williams is in there. He knew where that line was. He just went for an extra little kick through there. Try and provoke some of the newer riders. And guess who is on the move? He's done it. He's not gone with the ghost this time. It is an aero. It's put in. Let's have a little look. He's gone early. He's gone for the long one. It is a big old sprint, and he is leading this out. Is Mason going to get this again? He's gone for this with masses of distance, and he's left them all in his wake. Williams is coming. Crawley is coming. Byrne, Hepton, Brown are coming. Oh, they're coming quick. Could they get him in time? It's getting closer. It's getting closer. This is going to come down to those last few meters. Come on, G. He's going to get rolled. He's going to get... Oh, that's going to go to a photo finish. That's going to be a look back. I have no idea who took that whatsoever. I think it will be a tie between Mason and Williams on the way through. I think Mason just about got that as they came in. What a finish as they came in and through the line. Now, we are just going to go take a little bit of a look. G set up. Did he get popped on the way through? Henry Fuller's going to be our next rider in through the line. So Fuller goes in through the line. We're going to hunt back for Josh Malin. Josh going to be our next rider coming in. What a finish. Absolutely scary stuff there. So Sean Fudden going to be our next rider coming through. Well done, guys. A brutally fast ride here today on the Donny Chaingang. So Marty Davidson, our next rider. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of a kick behind him. It's coming from Morgan Lloyd. Lloyd just comes through ahead of Finn Donahoe. And then it's going to be Scriven, followed by Hind. So that's the riders as they came through that time. We're going to take a little bit of a run back down behind them because I think Mick Hawkins is our next rider who's leading this out. He's got Kerry on his heels. Who's it going to be? So let's have a look. It is Hawkins. He's got Kerry behind him. Kerry's going to come over the top, though. Look at this. Kerry is going to carry that pace through. So it's Kerry who goes over the line, just takes that from Hawkins behind. We're going to have to take a little bit of a look. We'll run back in and just take a little bit of a view who's coming out behind Hawkins. I think it's going to be Tom Crapper. So Josh Roddyman on the gang. Thanks for us on the top 9. Yep, definitely a nice and tidy guys. Brilliantly done. Some great riding here today. Thomas, no doubt with some pretty sore legs. I think been doing some seriously hard training. He's got currently a few hundred meters to go behind him. I think it's going to be Chris Gale, followed by Muncaster, then Samul and Malin, with Wimble, Clark and Forrester in that group. Gale, though, is coming at pace. I think it's too far out, but he is coming quick here. And I think it could spell danger for Tom. So Tom, if he takes a little bit of a look behind him, has got Gale coming in at speed. Will it be fast enough? That's the question. I think Tom is in danger. Here comes Gale. Gale is going to take him on the line here. So here we go. So Chris goes through, followed by Tom on his way in and through the line. Next rider in is going to be Martin coming through. And then it's going to be Spale Chris coming through with Malin and Wilson. Rob Wimble coming through there as well. I think Craig Forrester in that group. Mick Clark, Dixon Moore just in and through the line as well. Well done, Richard. So good riding. Next up is going to be Mr. Wallace. He's our next rider heading in, but they are coming behind him and they've got the sprint unleashed. And the question is anybody going to be able to answer him? I'm not sure they are. So it's going to be Wallace, then it's going to be Wharfdale Phil with Raccoon, Mantis Toboggan behind him. Then it's going to be Catlin. It's going to be Chris Idell, the man from Velaskin. Our next rider in through line. Good to see Chris back on the chain gang once again. And don't forget, of course, support the people who support your sport. Watch out for those discounts coming to the members of the DCG gang. That's going to be coming up very shortly indeed. So just taking a quick check back in. I suspect our next riders are going to be John Garfoot. And then it's going to be the group of Lee and Ian and Canham. So John Garfoot should be our next rider heading in to the line. So Dave Lee, Ian and Chris Canham currently sat behind John Garfoot. Not by much though, but just enough for John, I think, to be able to hold them off as they come into the line. Then it should be the Brooks, Mason, Priest, the group behind with Flynn in there as well. So don't forget, make sure you join in for the game. We do have the block running from January through January, February, March and April. Get all those links direct to your inbox and all those discounts, and be in with a chance to win some great goodies. So Chris Canham comes through, just outside Dave Lee. Then it's going to be Ian from Stellaton as they come in and over the line. So nice riding, guys. And looks like it's going to be Gary Patterson as our next rider. So Patterson pushing onwards here. He's got a bit of a gap to Sir Rodney, Jim Flynn, Ian Brooks, Andy Priester, Bobby Mason, Claire Keane, Jason Stevens, Claire Jessup, Simon Jackson, Gale, our Beacon, Darren Topless in there as well. So it looks like a big kick coming out here. And going to just about hold them off. It's going to be close, though. So looks like he's just going to get there ahead of Sean Ferrer. Then Mark Grant coming in and through. Joe Jarvis through with Trevor Creed. Kooslugs in there as well. Chris Ball, great finish there as they came in and through the line. Ingham coming through, followed by Smith. Then it's going to be Sir Rodney's group. A real fast finish from the riders that came in and over the line that time. So our next rider should be Sir Rodney with Jim Flynn. So let's see how these riders go. I'll get in this group. So looks like a light rider spread fairly consistently all the way out and around the game. Let's see who's going to have the big kick at the finish. Will it be Jim Flynn? Is it going to be Ian Brooks? I wouldn't discount Ian from any fast finishes, that is for sure. It looks to me like Sir Rodney's going to just about take this. Sir Rodney pushing to the line. It's Sir Rodney who takes it from Ian Brooks. Then it's going to be Jim Flynn. Priester coming in and through behind him. Bobby Mason's going to be our next finisher. And Bobby continuing to push in to the finish ahead of Darren Topless. Seth Jackson, Claire Jessup, Jason Stevens, Gail Phillips. So well done, Bobby. Good to see you on the gang once again. We're in with Claire King. Good to see Claire on the Chaingang. Congratulations, Chaingang done and dusted when you hit the line. Just a warm down to do. So we're going to jump in with this group as they continue to push here. So Keane just disappearing with that little bit of a ghost, but Darren Topless has out-ghosted a ghost there because he did exactly the same. So it's going to be Darren who's going to take advantage of that ghost, who's going to finish ahead of Keane. So it's Topless, followed by Keane, followed by Jessup. And it's going to be Stevens, Jackson, and then it is going to be Gail coming through. A massive thank you to Gail, not just for being our red beacon today, but just as importantly for looking after all of our red beacons on the DCG. And it's got to be said, it's an enviable task. Gail does an amazing job of keeping everybody stitched together. So massive thank you to Gail, and of course exemplary work as our beacon as well. I think that's going to leave Ben Cokin on his way into the line. So Ben making his way in to the finish. We're going to drop down beside Ben as he heads into the line. So whilst Ben heads in, just a massive thank you to everybody who's made the gang 2022. 2023 promises to be an absolute cracker. We've got some great routes. We've got a great WoW DCG coming up tomorrow on Emma's birthday. So interesting to see how that pans out. What way to spend your birthday? What way to celebrate Emma's birthday? Yeah, I didn't get in trouble much, honest gov. And don't forget, of course, Make sure you jump in, join the gang. We'll be broadcasting that one. We're heading back to the UK on Thursday, so no show, but the ride will be out as usual with Russ leading the ride. Saturday, well, Friday and Saturday, I'm going to be down at Clanfields with the GB squad, I think, on the Friday and watching the practice sessions. And then on the mic, followed by Zonhoven on Sunday. We've also got our Sunday Race Club broadcast, the esports broadcast. It's going to be covered by Emma. And, of course, we've also got lots of Chaingang action coming up next week as well. So, well done to our riders. Fantastic stuff. Remember, we have our WoW DCG tomorrow. A massive thank you to everybody over there who looks after our riders on the DCG gang. Don't forget, of course, it is Velaskin January. Jump on, join the gang. Get those links direct to your inbox, the discounts, and all of the chance to win all those prizes. So, from me, from Russ, from Galar Red Beacon, I hope you've enjoyed tonight. Make sure you join Emma and myself along with Joe Jarvis, who'll be Red Beacon, tomorrow for the WoW DCG. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.